OpenHuman is something every AI agent quietly fails at. You explain your project to the thing, your tools, how you work, and then you close the window and it forgets all of it. Next session, you're back to zero, re-explaining the same context like you never met. OpenHuman is built to end that. It runs on your own machine, quietly reads your connected accounts in the background, and turns all of it into a memory the agent can actually reason over, so it knows your world before you type anything. OpenHuman comes from a small team called TinyHumans, and it launched in beta in the middle of May this year. It's written in Rust on a framework called Tari instead of Electron. That's the reason the app stays light instead of hogging your memory like a lot of desktop apps do. It's fully open source under the GPL3 license, so the whole codebase is there to read, if you want. The repo went from basically nothing to thousands of stars in days. People keep calling it a Hermes killer, and I think that's the wrong frame, so let me clear it up. Hermes Agent, from Noose Research, is a self-improving agent. When it finishes a task, it writes itself a small skill file and gets better at that kind of work over time. It learns by doing. OpenHuman is after something different. It's not trying to get better at tasks on its own. It's trying to know you. Hermes serves the work. OpenHuman serves you. They're solving two halves of the same problem, and honestly, plenty of people will end up running both side by side. The piece everyone fixes on is the memory system. The point they keep hammering is that every model out there, all 200 plus of them, is stateless. You send a prompt, you get an answer, and the context just evaporates. Even the ones with so-called memory are really just keeping a few bullet points, which they describe as a sticky note, not actual intelligence. The memory tree is their answer to that, and it is specifically not a vector database with a thin memory wrapper bolted on top, which is how most of these things work. Here's how it actually runs, and I think the mechanics are the interesting part. Every source you connect, Gmail, Slack, a document, whatever, goes through the same pipeline. It gets turned into clean markdown, chopped into chunks of up to 3,000 tokens each, scored, and then folded into summary trees. And there are three kinds of trees doing different jobs. Source trees, one per source, like one per Gmail label or one per Slack channel. Topic trees, which get built around specific entities, a person, a project, a repo, and the more often something shows up, the more aggressively its tree gets built. They literally call that hotness. And then a global tree, which is basically one daily digest across everything that came in that day. So when you ask it something, it can search one source, drill into a topic, or pull the whole day's summary, depending on what you need. The mechanism underneath is this ceiling idea. New stuff lands in a buffer, and when that buffer fills up, it gets compressed into a summary, and that cascades upward as more comes in. The fast part, cleaning and chunking and a quick score, happens immediately, so the app never freezes. The heavy lifting, the embeddings, and the entity extraction runs in the background. And if you turn on local AI through Llama, even that heavy work can stay on your own device instead of going out to a server. And here's the part I genuinely like. All of it lives on your machine in a folder by default under a directory in your home folder. There's a small database file for the chunks, and then there's an actual vault of markdown files that opens directly in Obsidian. The team's line is that you can't trust a memory you can't read, and they mean it literally. You open the folder, you read exactly what the agent thinks it knows about you, and if it got something wrong, you fix the file by hand. I have not seen another personal agent let you do that. Memory is almost always a black box. Here it's just text files you own. It connects to over 100 services through one-click sign-ins: Gmail, GitHub, Slack, Notion, Stripe, your calendar, and more. No API keys to wire up yourself. And then there's AutoFetch, which is the quiet workhorse. Every 20 minutes, it pulls fresh data from every active connection and folds it into the memory tree without you asking. So by the time you sit down in the morning, the agent already has your overnight email and whatever your teammates pushed. There's also a compression layer they call token juice that squeezes down bulky tool output before it ever reaches the model, which is how they claim sweeping through 6 months of email costs single-digit dollars. One independent tester measured around a 70% cut on his own data, A bit under the 80% the company claims, but still a big difference when an uncompressed sweep through a top model can run you 20 or 30 bucks. On top of that, it routes each task to a fitting model automatically. Heavy reasoning to a frontier model. Quick lookups to a cheap one. All under one subscription. Alright, let me set it up. Install is simple. Grab the installer from the tinyhumans.ai site. Pick Mac, Windows, or Linux, and it sets everything up. There's also a terminal command on the GitHub page, but I'll flag what most reviews skip. That command pipes code off the internet straight onto your machine and runs it before you ever look at it. On a throwaway machine, fine. But if this is your main laptop about to get your real Gmail connected, download the proper installer from the site instead so you can inspect things first. When it opens, you get a short onboarding. It asks where you want to run, locally or in the cloud. I'm staying local, and I'd push you the same way, since that's the whole point of this app. Then you sign in, and I'm using a burner Google account here, not my main one. After that, you pick your setup. I'm going custom because I want my own models. You set your language model, you pick a voice system, it ships with its own speech setup, but you can swap in something like 11 labs, and you connect your accounts. I'll leave most of it on defaults for now. And we're in. This is the main dashboard. One thing right off, there are a few too many pop-ups nudging you to upgrade. I get it, they need revenue, but in beta, it's a little much. Past that, you talk to the assistant here, and everything you say feeds the memory over time. There's a page for managing your connections, and the one that matters most is the Intelligence tab down in the navigation. That's where the memory tree lives. You can see your storage size, how many sources it's ingested, how many chunks and topics it's built, run a manual sync, and look at a force-directed graph of all the entities and how they connect, which starts sparse and fills in over a few days. There's even a heat map of ingest activity that looks like a GitHub contribution graph, handy for spotting when a connection quietly broke and stopped syncing. And there's a button that opens your vault straight in Obsidian. Before connecting anything real, one honest warning. When you hook up Gmail or Slack, you are pulling your private stuff into this app. The team says they don't train on your data, and the local first design backs that up. Your raw data doesn't leave your machine unless you specifically put it into a prompt. But you're concentrating a lot of sensitive access in one place: email, code, calendar, all at once. So connect what you're actually comfortable with. And if you want zero cloud exposure, run a local model through Ollama, and nothing ever leaves your computer. The app even ships with a small local model for the light background work by default. Okay, once you've got a few things connected, the range of what you can hand off gets pretty wide. You can have it watch your Gmail and Slack and pull together a morning digest of who's waiting on you and what they actually need. So you start the day with a clean list instead of 100 unread threads. You can point it at your GitHub in Linear or Jira and ask what shipped this week, what's still stuck, and which issues nobody's touched, and it'll cross-reference the commits against the tickets for you. For anyone living in Notion or Google Drive, it can dig through your docs and notes and answer questions about your own projects without you hunting for the right file. It can sit on your Google Calendar and prep you before a meeting by pulling everything it knows about the people and the project you're about to talk about. With Stripe connected, it can keep an eye on payments and flag anything odd. And because it has browser and computer control plus web search built in, you can send it off to do real research, write it up, and drop the result wherever you want. So where does that leave it? What OpenHuman gets genuinely right is treating memory as the actual product, not a feature stapled on the side. Most agents add memory as an afterthought. This one is built around the memory tree, and the fact that you can open the folder and read what it knows means you don't take anything on faith. That's a real edge for anyone juggling a pile of tools, founders, developers, people living across 5 apps all day. My honest take: put it on a spare machine first, connect 1 or 2 accounts, let it run a couple days, then open that vault and read what it actually built about you. If what you see is useful and the data side feels okay to you, connect the rest. This is one of the more genuinely new ideas in the agent space in a while, and the team ships fast, so the gap between what it is today and what it could be in a few months is wide. Worth watching closely. Alright, so That's it from the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.